Plexcelsior, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Crisis on Earth Plex, Multiplex's fandom, nerddom, geekdom discussion show where we talk about all the news of the week in those worlds. I am one of your hosts for the evening, the Cosmic Night Fury, Nico, Suave, Regoli, and I am joined by the first and only Arrowverse champion of the world, the current Multiplex Entertainment TV Throwdown champion of the world, my brother, Zaddeus Smith. How you doing tonight?
I am doing well, good sir. Doing well. Thank you for that gracious introduction. A one and only Arrowverse champion, current TV Throwdown champion. Very proud of that. But doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired. I'm tired, and I'm in a sort of a I don't have time for bullshit mood for whatever reason.
I can only imagine it's an hour. You're an hour ahead of me already, so I can definitely believe that. Understand that.
And it's weird. Like, not even that much happened that should have made me mad. I guess I'm just. It's just one of those days where I'm just a little grouchy. Maybe didn't get enough sleep. I don't know.
Yeah, we all have those days. No need to even explain yourself. Completely understand.
Before we get into our first story on the docket for this week, if you read the description, you might have noticed something in particular. We mentioned a couple times in the past couple weeks that view count was going to be determined. Was going to be a big determining factor in whether or not this show would keep on going, at least in terms of multiplex. And sadly, the view count has not really shown any increase. So we are being canceled. I was able to talk Kane into letting us keep the show going until the week after Comic-Con ended so that we could talk about everything that happened at Comic-Con. But unfortunately, again, at least in terms of multiplex, this month will be the last month for Crisis on Earth Plex.
Yeah. The crisis is finally caught up to us. Yep. Unfortunately, again, at least according to Multiplex, it's the end of an era in this regards, at least.
I mean, we do have some offers. Film Nerd TV has offered us a spot if we want to take it. And, you know, I still have connections with Dedicated to Art, being that I'm one of the one of the four main guys on that network. So maybe I can pull some strings there. But one thing's for sure, once we go off the air on Multiplex, I think we're just going to take a couple weeks off and then figure things out.
That's most. It's going to be like it will be the end of Crisis on Earth Plex, and then the vacation, and then what happens after that? Who knows? Could be a whole new era, pretty much.
Absolutely. A new era for us, a new era for the Arrowverse, a new era for the MCU in terms of it's going to be on TV now, too, for real. Not just say it's all connected and then not really have it be connected.
Yeah, not the fake MCU that they pretty much jumped into another dimension that we know, but they just ain't telling us yet. But I understand.
Okay, we're going on a tangent, so let's get into the first bit of news for the evening. And this is fresh off the presses today. HBO Max. Mm-hmm. This is AT&T's latest attempt at a streaming service since buying up all the rights to everything at Warner Brothers. We saw them try, but did they really actually try with the DC Universe service?
I don't know, man. To say a lot of things have been canceled over with DC Universe, and even some of the good shows. Like I know, well, I'm not sure if you were watching. We didn't watch. Neither of us, I don't think, have watched Swamp Thing. And as far as I know,
I watched the first episode, and then it got canceled, and I was like, "Well, what's the point?"
Exactly, they pulled the plug on that. I think after the next day after the first episode, so I haven't even watched that. So with the Swamp Thing on the way out, and with Doom Patrol, I think it's up in the air. Even though I've heard it had a good first season.
that was one of the best shows in the modern decade, let alone on that service.
Yeah, it's really felt like as I put in my little teaser, it seems like HBO Max could, well, you say it could be the final nail in this coffin, but like it seems like the announcement of this could really be signaling the end of the entire DC universe, at least in regards to its own app. I will say that.
Okay, to give a little bit more details as to what this service is going to look like. First off, Friends is going off Netflix, and it's going to go on this service. This service will also include shows and movies from HBO, CNN, why, I'm not sure, TNT, TBS, True TV. Hopefully they bring back World's Dumbest because that was great. Turner Classic Movies, and more, according to the CNBC article that I'm reading. So the first thing that came to my mind when, oh yes, it'll also be including the CW as well. So stuff from Warner Brothers proper, New Line, and DC Entertainment. So maybe DCU will just have a new home. We also got Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Crunchyroll, Rooster Teeth, really, Looney Tunes, and other stuff will be featured on this service. So, go ahead and say what you were going to say.
I would say you almost left that one of the best old school shows. It's weird to say old school because I was alive when it began, I think, and I was definitely alive when it ended. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is going to be on this new HBO Max streaming service, so you'll be able to see all the episodes, I believe, at least, of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And then for some of our teeny boppers out there, Pretty Little Liars is going to be on there also. So it's good thing is it seems like HBO Max will have something for at least almost everybody out there, I think. So that's the bright side.
What network was the Fresh Prince on? Because I only remember it being on Nick at Night from the reruns in the 2000s.
I think Fresh Prince, I think, used to be on, well, when I used to watch it, I think it used to be on, I think, UPN at some points, but then I believe the UPN slowly became the CW eventually, and wow, UPN is just such an old like term in itself, but it eventually makes sense why it's being rolled into just Warner Media or HBO Max streaming service.
My first question was, with TNT and TBS stuff being included in this, what does this mean for AEW? All Elite Wrestling. Is Cody Rhodes, does he have the business mind to hold an event broadcasted on the streaming service, provided this streaming service understands how to do live streaming?
That's a very good point, because we all know that the AEW is going to be having their live shows, I believe, come out this fall on TNT, if I'm not mistaken. So, you're exactly correct. Will it be? Well, this is coming out in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. That was the day of HBO Max. It's coming out next year.
I don't see a date.
Okay. Well, I know they said that Friends was
spring of 2020. Here we go.
Yeah. So it has a couple more months. So we'll be able to see AEW on TNT like for at least a couple of months. But as you said, will we then see AEW not be like a mock of the WWE network, but will they be able to? Well, Cody Rhodes and I think the owner's name is Tony Khan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Will they have like the business mindset to be able to persuade Warner Media and AT&T to have live streams of their shows, or maybe live stream their pay-per-views, or their pay-per-views or something, which would be a really good thing in my regards. Because like right now, I did pay for the first pay-per-view, but I mean it was a good pay-per-view and all, but it was $50, and I've been used to $9.99 network at WWE, and so I've been a little spoiled. That's all I'm trying to say. So hopefully, Cody Rhodes and AEW can maybe have some type of deal where I can watch a pay-per-view like for like $10, $20 maybe.
Well, granted, their most recent show was free, so
That's true. That was a good show.
So it's still growing company, and therefore it's still figuring out what its long-term business model wants to be in terms of broadcasting. And now they potentially have this other option to explore. I love how we're talking about streaming service and streaming services and the service wars, and we went straight into wrestling.
It should be part of it. I mean, WWE Network has their own streaming service, so.
Fair point. Pretty much everything has its own streaming service now, and we know Disney Plus is coming up. We know Apple Plus is coming up, and NBC has something of their own. Throw in the fact that Disney also has ESPN Plus, and they just bought Hulu. And then you throw in the other wrestling streaming services like New Japan World. You've got the WWN. You've got the Honor Club for Ring of Honor. There's just like so much to go through, and I'm wondering like, what are the bundle deals going to be?
Congratulations, everybody! You have been suckered back into paying for cable, pretty much. So, well, all these streaming services.
You're not wrong. You're not.
Yeah.
Wrong.
This is just more on-demand cable. Like you can watch things when you want to. I mean, with all, like you said, with all the streaming services that you announced and that you just said, then of course with some of them at varying prices and stuff, you could be paying. That's probably at least $120 that you're paying to all these streaming services. And yes, again, while it is on demand, how much was your cable bill when you cancel it? So that's my question.
And I still have Comcast, so I'm still paying for cable, and then you throw in all these additional services, and it's like, what the hell? And granted, I'm not the one who pays the bills in the house, but there will come a time when I have to pay bills, and I'm going to realize, oh my God, this is what we spent on for this month alone just to watch it. My God, adulting is scary. But nevertheless, one last thought. Does John Oliver talk about this on this week's edition of Last Week Tonight?
I would think so. Especially, I mean, this seems like it's pretty big news, and it's going to be a bit shakeup for like the future, because I know everybody's been crying about like I'm sorry, people. I don't want to say you've been crying about. I just been seeing so many articles about The Office is leaving Netflix in 2021 or 2020. Oh my God, the humanity! But if I'm not mistaken, Friends was like The Office before The Office. That was the shit back in the day. So that's leaving not in 2021. That's leaving in less than a year. So I'm waiting for the uproar for Friends. Like, where the frenemies or whatever their fans call themselves.
Oh, this is only like the 18th time that Friends has been taken off of Netflix. Only difference is it's being taken off for real this time.
Yeah, so, it's being taken off for good too.
Yeah. So they have legitimate reasons to gripe this time compared to all the other times. But I think we'll probably hear about this on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver this week, especially considering John Oliver loves to take shots at AT&T ever since they bought HBO. Along with the rest of Warner Media. So he keeps saying, I got your business, Daddy. I got you. He just loves poking that bear. So I can't wait to see if and when he will poke that bear again. But we shall now move on to a big chunk of the rest of our show for the evening. Disney live action. A lot of stuff to talk about here. Specifically, 2 trailers for 2 different movies dropped it out of the blue. The Mulan live action trailer just came out of nowhere, and then we got Maleficent 2, Mistress of Evil. And one thing's for sure, they're going away from the mythological aspect of the original Mulan and focusing more on a realistic side of things. And I kind of like what I saw in the trailer. I'm just unsure of is she going to disguise herself as a man like she did in the cartoon movie, or is she going full on female in this one? Because it's the trailer makes it very hard to tell what direction they're going in.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And because from what I saw in Mulan in all her glory with her hair down, just fighting like wielding a sword, like looking like a badass. And well, that's cool and all. One of the very pivotal points of the movie was her having to disguise herself and how ridiculous it is that we know how it's ridiculous that she even has to do that when she wants to fight for the honor of her family and for her country. And she has to work almost 10 times harder than some of the men, than most of the men that she's in like training with too. And she does. I mean, spoiler people. And she does, and she becomes a badass in the army. And if they're gonna skip all that, they're gonna be skipping a pretty big part of the movie. Now, yes, this is just the first, not even trailer, it was like a teaser trailer. So maybe they just showing I feel like Disney just giving us what they want us to know for now. Maybe like, oh, do y'all like that? Do you like this right now? Do you like what you see? They're testing the waters, I think, right now. And I'm okay with it, but I'm a little angrier at some other news that I'll share after this.
I like what you said about her having to work 10 times as hard as all the men, because that's basically the life we live in right now. Look at the women's soccer team. They just won their fourth World Cup, and they still don't get paid as much as the men's team, which hasn't won a game or qualified for a championship in the World Cup since like before I was born. So, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations to the U.S. women's national team. Like, that was damn. I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but I like to know at least like a little bit here and there so I can talk in conversation. And they whooped their ass. So, yeah, big props to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, we got off of Mulan, but that's just because, again, it's a trailer. We don't really, that's all we have to go off of. And, you know, it did what a trailer should do. It makes you guess. It makes you wonder, what am I seeing here? It made us ask questions about how much is this an exact copy of the original, and how much are they tweaking things. We've seen that already, that they're tweaking things to be more realistic. So unfortunately, no Eddie Murphy dragon, but
big problem with that. I had a bit. Well, not just the fact that it was. If it's Eddie Murphy, they get to be Mushu. It doesn't really matter. But the fact that Mushu or some form of Mushu is not gonna be there, that kind of sucks. And mind you, I just saw the first Mulan movie. What is 2019? Last year. Well, the first.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm completely late to the party. But when I saw it, I really enjoyed it. And then, like, just know that Mushu's not gonna be in it. And that kind of sucks. Also, and this is what I was teasing, I heard that there's not gonna be any music like in this movie, which kind of pissed me off.
They're going to play instrumental versions of the original songs in the background, is what I've heard. So musical tributes to the original, but they're not going to have anyone singing. And I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of okay with that, simply because you know that would just make it more way too much of an exact copy of the original for me. So they're trying something different. We've been asking them for the longest time, them being Disney, try something different. So here's what they're doing. They're trying a more realistic take on Mulan. And what's more realistic than nobody randomly breaking into song?
That's true. And that's something I've complained about in movies in the past, but I'm willing to give it a shot just to see how this goes. Unless I see a trailer down the line that completely sucks to enjoy my spirit, and then I'm like, I'll be done. But I doubt it. Disney usually does no wrong unless you're counting Junker or Mars or the Lone Ranger, but that's neither here nor there.
And now getting on to the other trailer, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. This trailer made me realize that I have absolutely no idea what the mythos is of Sleeping Beauty or of Maleficent, because I didn't see the first Maleficent movie. And I didn't bother seeing the Sleeping Beauty animated movie. I've just heard cliff notes, and that's about it. I know there are 3 fairies. I know the lady pricks her finger on the needle and then falls asleep and has to be kissed by a pervy prince to wake up. And that's about all I knew. So now apparently Princess Aurora, I guess, is getting married to the prince that woke her up. And but was Maleficent like her godmother, and now she doesn't want a wedding to happen, but they invited her to the rehearsal dinner, and she fucks it up because everyone saw that coming, and apparently she comes from a species of winged monsters now. What the fuck?
I know, and if I'm not mistaken, that was Baron Mordo up there that Chiwetel Ejiofor, aka Scar. I think he was one of the winged beasts that was up there. Like, I'm sorry, I have absolutely no idea what to think about this movie. I didn't see the first one either, but I heard that they pretty much changed her origin. Well, not really changed her origin story, but she was definitely a villain in the original Sleeping Beauty, which I have unfortunately seen. Well, I won't say unfortunately, but I have seen the animated version. But like in the one Maleficent one, they changed her from being like a bad person, like to being a misunderstood, misunderstandingly evil, but yet to be somewhat. And it was more like a problem with the king, I think, which of Aurora's dad or something back in those days. So it seems a little ridiculous, and I'm not even technically sure if I'm gonna want to see this one. Hey, I got the AMC stuff. Hey, listen, I may go see it just for free. But if you want to get caught up on anything Sleeping Beauty related, watch Once Upon a Time, like the old show that used to be on ABC. They had a pretty good Aurora, but the funny thing is, they also had Mulan in there, and again, because we were talking about Mulan and Sleeping Beauty a little bit in within this last couple of minutes, a little twist Mulan in Once Upon a Time that had to do with Aurora and Prince Philip. So pretty cool.
What are the chances Once Upon a Time ends up on the Disney Plus service?
Oh, there's 100% that show needs to be on Disney Plus. On Disney Plus service. They went all throughout this, like they do out Disney history with that, like from the evil stepmother, the evil queen, from Snow White, Poison Apples. They went as soon as Frozen, went as far as Peter Pan, Pinocchio, and they did it pretty well. I used to love Once Upon a Time until about season 4, and then they kind of got about season 4, and then they kind of overextended themselves. It still was a pretty good show.
I did see like maybe 1 or 2 episodes while waiting for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to start. So I saw the potential it had, but I realized I was way too far behind to understand what was going on. So, but I am curious. We're going on all sorts of tangents today. We're just falling completely off topic with
Disney.
Yeah. Oh, good God. Let's just move on to the Little Mermaid stuff. So, Halle Bailey, we mentioned this last week. I believe we did. Did we?
Well, not with Halle Bailey. We were mentioning the other casting news with Jacob Tremblay being Flounder, I believe, last week, and then Awkwafina was being cast as Scuttle, the bird, the seagull in that movie.
Well, I think she was a rumor, but it was a close to being confirmed rumor. So after that, we got news that Halle Bailey was playing the role of Ariel.
Halle Bailey, not Halle Berry, like I thought. So
yeah, I made that same mistake too, and I had to double check.
I'm not the only one.
I had to double check, and I did my ranting on the internet having a meltdown over there being a black Ariel on the most recent episode of the Who Cares Anyway podcast. We talked about it with Winston Marshall as well. So you can go check it out there. You already know my thoughts. But Zed, I have not heard your thoughts yet regarding this whole Ariel situation.
Oh, first of all, with Ariel, I don't know too much about Halle Bailey. I won't say it again, but I know she's like a part of a singing duo. I think her sister. That would be a pretty big presumption if she's not her sister, but I think they're sisters. But I think it's a great casting move. Like I don't really know much about acting ability, but I know she can sing, and as part of one person who's not the biggest fan of the Little Mermaid, like Ariel herself, I love the songs of that movie, and if she can blow part of your world out of the water, no pun intended, God, no pun intended. If she can blow it out the water, I'll love it. Like, because I mean, I would think she if she has the talent to be a good of a singer as she is, I think she should be able to kill that song. So I think it's good casting. And when the haters came out, oh, I loved it. It just shows you how the ignorance of people these days. And if you remain blind to it, you're just as idiotic as they are. But it was just like ridiculous, but good. But I'm definitely cool with this casting though.
Now, to the people who are upset of redheaded people are kind of marginalized too. So it's like you traded one representation casting for another one, and now you left us in the dust. There are redheaded black people. There are. Like if you can tolerate it, go watch Solo: A Star Wars Story. Enfys Nest is a black redhead.
That's true. That's very true. Hell, you want to go back, watch the 5 Heartbeats. That's something that nobody's gonna be. What the hell is the 5 Heartbeats? But there's a redheaded black man in that movie too. And also, I don't think they ever mentioned that her hair won't be some shade of red in this movie. So people are just.
They didn't say what color her hair would be, but they're just like they're going. They're changing for diversity's sake, and then the internet had an uproar as they usually do of like, well, why doesn't it matter when a colored person takes a white character's spot, but why does it matter when a white person takes a colored character's spot? Because usually there's an element of culture when those casting decisions are made that you just can't change. Like there's a reason why we can't have a white Black Panther, because he's the king of an African nation that's entirely black. And don't even get me started on every single Asian movie that has a white character in it.
The Wall. Sorry, just bad, Joe. Like Roman 47. Sorry, I'm just bad cough, man. Sorry.
Like there are tons of examples in history of white people playing people of other races or cultures, and no one got upset about it. But the moment you do the opposite, the internet just loses its shit. And it's so annoying. It's so annoying.
It is super annoying. But one thing I thought about also is I remember when I heard the news a couple months ago or years ago. I think it was a couple months ago. I can't wait till they officially announce that Superman is going to be played by Michael B. Jordan. I can't wait for the internet to freak out. And when they find out there's a black Superman, the world is going to explode.
Now, do they go with the Earth 2 Val Zod version, or do they go with the version that was basically based entirely off of Barack Obama?
Yeah, I'd say probably go with the Val Zod version. As a matter of fact, I think they're doing something like that with. I'm not sure if you watched the show Krypton, something in that regards, but that's the show
I should watch the show Krypton because it's on the DC Universe streaming service that is still around until further notice.
For now. But yeah. But that is going to be an interesting movie, though. I think it'll be an interesting movie in regards to Halle Bailey being cast as Ariel.
But the main question now is, who plays her father? Now, there are two directions we can go at with this. Because one, the internet sometimes has some good moments, and they were like, give us Idris Elba as King Triton. But then we got news that Terry Crews is running his own campaign to take the role. So, do you want the smooth black Superman villain in Hobbs and Shaw, or
I'm Black Superman? Yes.
Or do you want the Old Spice body wash guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
You know what? if I could think of King Triton, if I'm thinking about the King Triton from the animated version, I would see more Terry Crews because King Triton was a bit muscly dude. And I'm not saying that I was about to call him Luther, but it's just Elba isn't. But I see him being more a little bit smooth and a little bit more of a smooth talking. Well, I think he can impose the wisdom on Ariel that she's gonna need, and hopefully she's not gonna be as daft as she was in the anime version. But I think Terry Crews could do the same thing as Papa Triton. That'll be either or would be interesting, but I'll rock with I'll sign Terry Crews' petition.
Terry Crews, he has a lot more range than I think people give him credit for.
Yes, he does.
Like he can do serious roles, but it just so happens that even when he's cast in a serious role, it's usually in a movie where there's a lot of humor in it. Like his role in Deadpool 2, he played a pretty serious character, but he still had a very hilarious ending to said character.
Yeah, right.
And then you look at the character of Sergeant Jeffords on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You know, he has a lot of range. It just so happens that they give him a lot of jokes, and the punchline is, such a big man has such a sensitive soul. So it's an interesting contrast there. And then you ask him to ham it up, and he will ham it up. Just go watch Adam Sandler's Blended.
And I'm gonna go watch White Chicks from back in the day. Man.
Oh yeah, he was in White Chicks too.
Yes,
wow.
He was. But I love Blended. That's a good version too. Good version, Terry.
So I feel like Terry Crews can do it. Although I do see why the internet would want Idris Elba. It's because Elba is just regal. He's just got that smooth personality to him, along with the Britishness of it. He seems like a king. He carries the role of a king very well. So I could see him.
That's very true.
Working it too. So only time will tell, though. Only time will tell. We're just getting news. We just found out who Ariel was going to be played by, so it'll be a while before we find out who Triton is going to be. Especially considering, like, isn't D23 coming up in a little bit, or are they saving that for next year?
Yeah, I think it's after Comic-Con, not like directly after, but definitely after Comic-Con later in the year.
Okay, and speaking of Comic-Con, as we get to our final story of the evening, we now know who's going to be at Hall H for each day. I'll just run through the schedule here. Thursday, July 18th at 11 a.m., Terminator Dark Fate. Nope. Then at 12:15, Batman Beyond, the 20th anniversary. That's going to be a cool panel. It's going to feature producers Bruce Timm, Glenn Murakami, casting dialogue director Andrea Romano, director James Tucker, writer Bob Goodman, writer Stan Berkowitz, and the legendary Kevin Conroy.
Yeah. And plus, Uncle Eric also.
Yeah. Will Friedle is also going to be there.
Mm-hmm. That was such a good show that didn't last long enough.
I know. I binged the show about a year or two ago, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then at 1:30, we got the Marvel Games panel with a picture of the Avengers video game that people are still like, why are the stunt doubles in the photo?
They really they got the ugliest Avengers right now. Like, I almost don't. I'm just hoping that it was just like the first like rendering, and that this is what we're giving you guys. Don't expect them to look like this, because I don't want my PS4 Spider-Man to be hanging with these Avengers. Like, no, I don't want that. Let him stay in his world. I don't want him with these guys.
I'm looking at the Thor for this game in the photo, and he looks like he's wearing a wig. The video game character looks like he's wearing a wig.
Yeah, I really hope that was just an announcement. Just this was the look for the announcement.
The moderator of this panel will be kindafunny.com's Greg Miller, and he'll be joined by VP and Creative Director for Marvel Games, Bill Roseman. Then at 3:30 p.m., Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. going to be at Hall H. That's going to be awesome. We got Clark Gregg, Ming-Na Wen, Chloe Bennett, Elizabeth Henstridge, Ian
the cat sticker. Yeah, I literally have been trying.
Holy shit!
I've been trying to practice his name just in case his name comes up in like a trivia match down the road, like Ian the cat sticker. I think that's how you say it.
Oh, Tim Smith sees that question, he's gonna walk off the stream.
He will.
Let's see. Henry Simmons, Natalia Cordova Buckley, Jeff Ward, and executive producers Marissa Tancharon, Jed Whedon, Jeff Bell, and Jeff Loeb. So this is going to be fun. Then at 4:45, we've got His Dark Materials panel and Q&A session. Excuse me. Let's see here. Series is produced Jane Tranter, Jack Thorne. Those are the names that are emboldened, so I think they're going to be there. The cast panelists include Daphne Keene, excuse me. James McAvoy, wow. Lin-Manuel Miranda, and Ruth Wilson. And the panel will be moderated by Entertainment Weekly's editor-in-chief, J.D. Heyman. Then we have at 10 a.m. on Friday, July 19th, the Writing Avengers Endgame panel with screenwriters Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. And Backstory Magazine's Jeff Goldsmith will be monitoring the panel. Then we have a conversation with the Russo brothers at 11 a.m. that day, Joe and Anthony. And it will be moderated by Collider's Frosty. Yep.
That should be that should be fun to see right there.
Then at noon, we have the Fear the Walking Dead panel. No, thank you.
Pass.
Then at 1 p.m. in the Indigo Ballroom, okay, we're moving away from Hall H, we have Adult Swim's Rick and Morty. Maybe I'll check that out. I think my sister might be more into that. But, of course, Dan Harmon will be there, as well as voice actors Spencer Grammer, Sarah Chalk, Chris Parnell from Archer, and also Justin Rowland, who's the other co-creator. Moderated by Rob Schrab. That's a weird last name. Then we have a regular Walking Dead panel at 1 p.m. in Hall H. Nope.
Pass. Oh, you sure? Yeah. I'm still over this show so much. I really am. I need to pull Walking Dead's comments and just go off the air. 2:15
p.m. In Hall H, we have The Witcher, a Netflix original series, and appearing at that panel. Actually, there are no names scheduled for this panel yet. I just see a picture of Henry Cavill dressed as the main character, and he looks pretty damn good.
That should be an interesting show. I'm looking forward to that show, even though I haven't seen a trailer yet. But I know the game's such a big deal, so that should be an interesting show.
At Ballroom 20 at 3:30 p.m. of that day, we have The Boys, which is a comic that I didn't know about until recently. Actually, I don't think it's a comic, but basically the summary here reads that The Boys is a fun and irreverent take on what happens when superheroes, who are as popular as celebrities, as influential as politicians, and as revered as gods, abuse their superpowers rather than use them for good. And these main characters end up going on a heist. So this is going to be interesting. The panelists include Carl Urban, Jack Quaid, Anthony Starr, Aaron Moriarty, Laz Alonso, Chase Crawford, Tomer Capon, Karen Fukuhara, and executive producer Eric Kripke, Seth Rogen, Jesse T. Usher, Elizabeth Shue, and it will be moderated by Archer and Whose Line Is It Anyways, Aisha Tyler.
Okay. I saw a trailer for this show. It looks very interesting, I would say that.
It does. I'm very intrigued to see what this looks like. Then at 3:30 p.m. in Hall H, we have Netflix's The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance.
Hard pass on this one.
I'm actually curious about this one, but I don't see any names for it yet, so we'll just have to see what it looks like. Ballroom 20 at 4:45 p.m. for Friday. We have Carnival Row, which is apparently an Amazon original series. Well, original. I don't know if it's a series or a movie, but it's starring Orlando Bloom and Cara Delevingne, and they will be at the panel, as well as David Gyasi, Tamsin Merchant, Travis Beecham, Mark Guggenheim, and it will be moderated by IMDb's Tim Cash. So that should be interesting. Then we have, this is making me laugh, 5:30 p.m. at Hall H, we have the Game of Thrones panel and Q&A session. I wonder if the questions will be screened in advance.
Oh, they're going to have to, because I'm pretty sure while I like the season, they're going to have a lot to answer for. From if they take questions from the audience, yeah, these questions are going to have to be screened, because I know it's probably not going to be a lot of happy people in that room.
Okay, panelists include Benioff and Weiss, Jacob Anderson, John Bradley, Nicolaj Coster-Waldau, Liam Cunningham, Natalie Emanuel, Ian Glenn, Conleth Hill, Macy Williams, Isaac Hempstead Wright, and Miguel Sapochnik.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for that.
No problem.
7 p.m. for Friday, we have Preacher. Seth Rogen is back, and the panel will be moderated by Terry Schwartz. I don't see any other names other than that, but who knows, that might change in time. Moving on to Saturday, Ballroom 20 at 10:30 a.m. We have a Batwoman pilot screening and Q&A. Ooh,
Man.
boy, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what, even though we can't see it, I am very looking forward to seeing like what's the reactions from that pilot.
Same here, because the more I see from the show in terms of press material, the more I want to see the show. So it's doing its job. 11:30 a.m. at Hall H, we have Enter the Star Trek Universe panel, and I guess I'm guessing they're going to be talking a lot about Star Trek Picard.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there's also an animated series coming out called Star Trek Lower Decks, and they will also have the Star Trek Discovery cast. Panelists include Sonequa Martin Green, Alex Kurtzman, Michelle Paradise, Heather Caden, Tig Notaro, Mike McMahon, I guess.
I would say
everyone who has the last name McMahon doesn't have it spelled in a way that it's pronounced.
Agreed.
The panel also includes Sir Patrick Stewart, Alison Pill, Michelle Hurd, Evan Evagora, Isa Briones, Santiago Cabrera, Harry Treadaway, and executive producers, I already said Alex Kurtzman, Michael Chabon, Akiva Goldsman, and I already said Heather Caden as well. Then at 12 p.m. noon in the Indigo Ballroom, NBC's The Good Place. I was a big fan of this show for season 1, and then for some reason I just dropped off, and I feel like I should really get back into it at some point.
I thought the show got canceled, but maybe I'm mistaken. I mean, even though I guess if you get canceled, doesn't mean you can't go to Comic-Con. Kanye truck. I could be.
Panelists include Ted Danson, my boo Kristen Bell, William Jackson Harper, Darcy Caden, and Manny Jacinto, as well as executive producers Michael Schur and Drew Goddard. Then we have Westworld 3 at Hall H, 1:15 p.m. I'll just go through the names here. Jonathan Nolan, Lisa Joy, Ed Harris, Tandy Newton, Aaron Paul, Tessa Thompson, Evan Rachel Wood, my other boo, and Jeffrey Wright. They will be there. And then you got the big Marvel Studios panel for Hall H at 5:15.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Feige is going to give us a big look into what's coming for Phase 4. And be very thankful for that, because that is the only reason we still have a show for at least a few more weeks. Yes.
That would be a hell of an episode to watch also. That July 23rd episode of Crisis on Earth Plex, because we will talk our asses off about what happened at Comic-Con, especially, probably most importantly, this panel.
And Zad, I'm curious to see if you'll watch or avoid this one. Supernatural special video presentation and Q&A at 10:30 a.m. for Hall H on Sunday, July 21st.
Well, I have 2 weeks to catch up on 2 seasons. I don't know if that's possible. So I'll probably let that slide.
But stars Jared Padalecki, Jensen Ackles, Amisha Collins, Alexander Calvert, and executive producers Robert Singer, Andrew Daub, Eugenie Ross Lemeng, Brad Buckner, and Robert Behrens will be there as well. This is their final appearance in Hall H as a show, because, show's going off the air. Lasted for 15 seasons. We couldn't even get a full year for us.
Supernatural powers, man. That's what they got on their side.
At 11:45 a.m. It doesn't say what room though. Riverdale special video presentation and Q&A. Neither of us watch Riverdale. Well, I think you do, but I don't.
I watched the first season and like half into second, then it just got way convoluted and kind of stupid.
And that's basically the last thing we have on the itinerary for Hall H. So, really not much to talk about other than what we just said. Like we gave you an idea of what panels we're going to watch and what panels we're going to avoid.
Yeah, and I feel like our main ones are going to be. We will not be talking about The Walking Dead. I can just assure you that. But the Batwoman screening, Picard is interesting because I've never been the biggest Star Trek person, but I think Sir Patrick Stewart's actually going to be starring this, so that should be very interesting. And other shows, Rick and Morty, maybe some that might be interesting, and especially Marvel Studios. That I can't wait for. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and their multiverse that's now multiverse that they just like to F with us about.
I might watch the Game of Thrones panel simply because I want to see how many people get kicked out for yelling at Benioff and Weiss.
That's true. That should be very fun to see.
And so that's the rundown for Comic-Con, who's going to be at what panel, at what times, and what days. So, we'll stay up to date on everything. And we got 2 more episodes of this show that we love to do for you all, if I'm correct. Yeah, 16th and the 23rd. Yep, 2 more shows for Crisis on Earth Plex. It's going to be weird not being able to plug Multiplex anymore, but it is what it is. But speaking of plugs, Zaddeus, where can the good people of the internet find you?
Good people, y'all can always find me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Zaddeus Smith by just searching my name. That's ZA2DsEUS Smith. On Twitter, more specifically, at @D_ZADD, or on Instagram at Zaddeus, ZADDEUS. And also, you can find me doing movie and TV reviews on the Stardust app at RetributionZ. I just saw Spider-Man. Well, not just a week ago, I saw Spider-Man Far From Home. And if you didn't watch last week's episode of Crisis on Earth Plex, go check out what my opinions were about it. Then come back and watch our episode from last week, and just to see what we thought about the movie. But you can also find me doing multiple trivia around this league throughout Facebook. And of course, people, for as long as y'all want us, right here, Tuesdays, Crisis on Earth Plex, at least for the next 2 weeks, where we'll give you the best show because we know what's important, and that's you, the people.
I'm very tempted to go heel on the people, though, because we told them, watch the show so we could keep doing this.
I will hit you with a chair. Stop it.
Oh, you Andrew guide me. Oh. Okay. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nico Suave Regoli, or just Nico Suave with 4 random meaningless numbers at the end for my Discord. I was gonna say Multiplex Entertainment, but after the next 2 weeks, you won't find me on Multiplex Entertainment other than for managing matches and for competing in them myself. So yeah, go House Night Fury, go Dedicated to Art. I'm in too many places. Real talk, though. Combat Wrestling Trivia on Facebook, Combat Wrestling Network on YouTube. The poorly made Twitter handle is at Combat Wrestlin, the number 2. There is no letter G in there. And Rolling Crits or at Rolling Crits on various social media. We finally got 2 episodes up of our show. One is audio only. The second one, it does have video in it. And then we've shot a few others. I don't know how long it'll be before those get up because, again, my friends are still newer at this whole internet thing than I am. So stay tuned for that. And Dedicated to Art or at D2A channel on various social media accounts. Watch us do our Schmodown reactions. And every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, we do the Who Cares Anyway podcast on YouTube. And then it goes on to all podcast services afterwards. This past week, we had Winston Marshall, Schmodown competitor and Disney Channel actor now. He was promoting his show, Sydney to the Max, and he's looking to become a recurring character for season 2. So watch the show Sydney to the Max and help him get that casting permanent so he can have a sustainable job for a long period of time. As is we all want. We all want sustainable jobs for long periods of time that we enjoy doing. I don't know where I'm going tonight. But yeah, those were my plugs. That was Zaddeus' plugs. That's Zaddeus.
Peace out, good people.
I'm me. And we'll see you at our next and second to last crisis.